I know that this is going to be a journey. Just because we've got a set amount of calories to eat in the day doesn't mean that we can just eat donuts and sweets all day. That will not be good. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabrielle. Hello, hi. For today's video, I'm going to share with you how to count calories to lose weight. But before we get into it, I just want to say that this is very exciting as it's all part of a new series on my channel labeled Get Fit with Me. This spring and summer, I'm on a bit of a journey to lose weight and tone up, but as part of that journey, I want to expand my knowledge. I want to know what, how, why, who, and of course, that means getting into the science. So if you too are on this journey, or perhaps you simply just want to expand your knowledge, then please do subscribe. Let's get into the video. Before we get into the how we calculate calories to lose fat, it's important to know why we're doing all of this. When it comes to calorie counting, it does come with a little bit of a stigma because some people can get unhealthy obsessions and calculate absolutely everything. But in this particular instance, when you're trying to lose fat, it's really important to know exactly what you're putting into your body because there is one formula and one formula only to lose fat, which is to burn more calories than you consume. So let's get into how we calculate calories to lose fat. If you're going to follow along, I suggest you grab a pen and paper or the notes section on your phone because there's a lot of maths. There's a lot of maths involved here. So step one is to calculate your BMR, which stands for your basal metabolic rate. BMR, not BMI. Your BMR is when you do absolutely nothing, but you burn a certain amount of calories. For instance, if you're just lying in bed, you did zero, not even blink, not even sit up to get a drink. You're just there lying in bed, and it's when your organs are just functioning and you're just being a human, you will burn a certain amount of calories. To calculate that, there are four factors involved: your height, your age, your weight, and your gender. For you to calculate your own BMR, I will leave a link down below for you to use a website that considers all of those factors, and it has told me that my BMR is 1,540 calories. So if I just laid in bed and did nothing, I was as still as a snail, I would burn 1,540 calories a day. The next step is to work out an activity level, which is why I've grabbed my laptop because there's a lot of numbers here and I want to give you guys the right information. So when it comes to determining how active you're going to be a week, it's really important to not overdo it. I'm not going to say that I'm going to exercise 7 days a week because I just know that I'm not. One week I might have a really good week and the next week I might exercise less because I'm really tired. So for myself, I'm going to say that I'm going to exercise 4 times a week on average, and this is categorized into different levels. If you're sedentary and you don't exercise whatsoever in the week and you've got a very still non-active job, they suggest that you times your BMR by 1.2. The next step up is if you exercise 1 to 3 times a week, you're slightly active, they suggest timesing it by 1.37. The next stage up is if you exercise 6 to 7 times a week, they suggest timesing it by 1.55. And if you're crazy and you're an exercise fanatic, then they suggest timesing it by 1.725. For me, I don't think that there's a particular category that fits in with me. As I said, I want to exercise 4 times a week. So I'm going to go with timesing my BMR by 1.45, which is in between the lightly active and moderately active. As I said, I don't want to overcommit and then be disappointed when I don't see the results. So for me, I'm going to times my BMR by 1.45. It gives me a total of 2,233 calories per day. So if I'm burning 2,233 calories a day, as I said before, I need to be in a calorie deficit to make sure that I'm losing the fat that I want. So now the question is exactly how low of a deficit do I go to help me reach my goals? This is a fun fact, and a fact I actually found really fascinating is that 1 pound of fat, which is equivalent to half a kilogram, it will take you 3,500 calories to burn that 1 pound of fat off. This is where I learned that it is absolutely a marathon and not a sprint, but for me to burn 1 pound of fat a week, then I have to be in a deficit of 3,500, which is equivalent to 500 calorie deficit a day. When it comes to this approach of counting calories, it's really important to remember that this is a guide and a guide only. Everybody's body is unique, it's different. You might have underlying health conditions, or your body simply might not just respond to how you thought it might. So I would say pick a calorie deficit, perhaps 500 is a good average. Do it for 2 weeks, step on the scales, see what the scales are saying, and then you might have to adjust. You might have to go up, you might have to go down, but remember, as I said before, it is a marathon and not a sprint. You need to do this as safely and sustainably as possible, helping you to reach your goals. I just want to add a note here as well to say that when we are in a calorie deficit, it's so important that you eat a nutritious, well-balanced diet, because your body needs to fuel itself, especially if it's not used to getting as many calories as it's used to. If you're working out, it needs to be able to repair its muscles. You need to stay hydrated, you need to be able to sleep properly, and to do that you need a nutritious diet. So just because we've got a set amount of calories to eat in the day, it doesn't mean that we can just eat donuts and sweets all day. That will not be good, and we will not get any benefit from that whatsoever. My fourth and final step is to take action, which means to eat less and work out more, which sounds fabulous, doesn't it? It sounds easy breezy in theory, but when it actually comes to it, I know that this is going to be a journey. So to eat less, I use a calorie tracker called MyFitnessPal. I'll leave it linked down below. It is fantastic. It allows you to scan barcodes, so it makes counting calories really easy. To work out more, as I said, I want to be doing 4 workouts a week. As I said, that sounds super duper easy, but I know that it is going to be a very big challenge of mine. So I want to share what I'm going to be doing on a daily basis to make sure that I'm reaching my goals, and that is to simply write it down. At the start of each day, I write down exactly what I want to achieve, whether it's professionally or personally. For instance, I'll write down when I'm doing my HIIT workout, when I'm going for a walk, and exactly how long. Also, I'll write down what I'm having for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and that way it is all there and there's less room to deviate away from my plan, helping me to keep on track. On that note, I did actually do a recent video on how to get back on track when you've binged or overeaten, so I will leave that on screen up here because that's really useful, because as we know, we are going to fall off the bandwagon. We're human, we're going to make mistakes, and to be completely honest with you, I expect to fall off the bandwagon. I cannot go for 3 months eating completely purely clean. That is just not me. It's not how it's going to work. I'm going to be going to pub gardens, I'm going to be having wine, I will be having cheese, everything like that, and that's okay. But I just need to, 1, account for those calories on a daily basis, 2, take action. Do I need to work out more that day? You know, just be more intuitive with your approach to it. Don't completely cut back and live the life of a caveman, because that's boring. Nobody wants to do that. It's the 21st century and we're also getting free from lockdown. It's time to have fun, but let's just do it in a smart way. So, as I said, my top tip is to write down exactly what you want to achieve that day, and that way you won't be disappointed. That is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Just to recap, we need to calculate our BMR, assess our activity levels, calculate how much of a calorie deficit we need to be in, and finally take action. This is going to be one hell of a journey, but I'm excited that we can do it together. As I said before, if you're on the exact same journey as me or you want to learn more, please do make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. We can do this! Woo! Bye!